any area that you surrender to God, you are always going to thrive in. Because anything that you give God, God is going to multiply greater. And sometimes when you sacrifice an area, whether it's your finances, whether it's your health, whether it's your mental, whether it's the brokenness, whether it's the depression, at first it's going to feel like it's falling apart when you first surrender it to God. But God actually has to break the thing down so he can build it back up better. Every area that I have sacrificed to God, I started to thrive in. I started to prosper in. I started to get better in. And that's why God wants us to surrender our whole heart. Surrender everything that is in us to him. Surrender your job, surrender your will, surrender your way, whatever it is, surrender it to God, because he is going to multiply. God is a multiplier, and God multiplies in greater. That's why it's important that we open up the parts of us that we don't want to open up. Because there's parts of us that we have that we're holding on to and we don't want to give God. We don't want to sacrifice it to God. But there comes a time where you have to start sacrificing those areas to God so God can build you up in those areas. So God can fill you up in those areas so you can start to thrive in those areas. But see, the enemy wants to keep you bound because he wants you to focus on everyone else. He wants you to focus on everybody else's life. And you start to forget to prosper in your life. You have to start surrendering more to God so he can multiply it. So he can build you back up better. But as long as you're holding on to those areas, or as long as you're in denial about you need to change in those areas because you're not even honest with yourself. At some point, you got to get honest with what you need work on. You got to get honest with the areas that you have closed the door on God in. And that's why sometimes it feels like those areas you're not prospering in or nothing is working out in those areas. It's because you haven't surrendered it to God. And what happens when we don't surrender things to God? We start to get overwhelmed. We start to get frustrated. We start to feel like our life is falling apart when